Hello and welcome to Thursdays with Annette. I have my apron on, I've got my oven preheated and I'm ready to cook. So I hope you are ready to see what I'm making today. Sit back, relax and enjoy. So what it is, it's coming out of book 7. This is the fabulous recipe and I thought we're getting close to winter. Let's do a curry. And so today it's the fancy chicken curry. Now there's a reason why it's called fancy and I'll explain that as we go along because it's not just a typical curry, okay? It's a fabulous curry. All right, so now before we start, let's talk about the winners from last week's show. Now last week, I mean, gosh, it feels like forever ago when I did the lemon jelly slice. And the winners for that from last week is Julianne Hanley, Joan Pardo, and Lois Allen. They're very excited. Thank you. You've got your signed copy in the mail. So, winner, winner. Stay tuned. So what we need for this recipe, this fabulous chicken curry, is carrots, a leek, celery, capsicum, frozen peas and corn. You want 600 grams of skinless chicken breast. Now we've got the garlic, you can always use fresh if you want, and the filo pastry, that's the big thing that we have on that one. You've also got some spices, and it's turmeric, coriander, cumin, fennel, which I don't use a lot, and chili. Then we've also got the canned evaporated milk, skim milk, stock powder, which is the chicken stock powder. We're also going to use a couple of the cream of chicken sachets, cup of soups. I've got some cookie spray. Basically, that's it. All right, so now, oven is preheated. 200 degrees, okay? It's a hot oven because it's in and it's quick. So let's think about, I've got my trusty little wok ready to go, my sharp knives, my whisk. Okay, you ready? Okay, so we're going to start with carrots. Okay, so now with this recipe, it says to small dice. So when I say small dice, I tend to then cut the carrot in 3 and then cut it again in 3. This is such a delicious curry, and I always think that it's just, and it seems to me that it's a little bit more interesting than a normal curry, and you'll find that out as we go. So here we are dicing the carrots. We want a cup. And as I said, don't have them too big. We don't want big chunks, because we want it to cook fairly quickly. All right, so let me get my measure. And also here's my microwave dish. So I might just put that here. I might move my cookbook over there for now. So here's my microwave dish. We want a cup. Now the idea of this is that I microwave the veggies up ahead because that means it's cooked quicker in the oven. So how are we going here? Oh my gosh, that's a cup. Well done, 1 carrot done. Okay, so into the container it goes. Don't need that one. Now we're going to do the leek. Now we want a cup of leek as well. Now when I took the top off here, I was using it for something else. It was a little bit dirty, but this part looks really clean because you really have to check with leeks. And if it is a bit dirty, then what you do is you need to wash it well. So what I do is I go down the middle, cut it, and it says this in the recipe, and you'll see, look, it's lovely and clean, but if it's not, then take this over to the sink and wash the leek. And this is just something a little different. Don't use a lot of leeks. I don't know why, because they're just so yum. So this is replacing onion. And we want a cup. Once again, this will go in the microwave dish. And I tend to push it down a bit. That looks good. Fantastic. Next, what will we do? Shall we do the celery? Yes. Thanks for joining me today. If you've just tuned in, I'm making fancy chicken curry. It's out of book 7. Now with the celery, we want to dice it. So once again, like the carrot, I go along with my lovely sharp near flame knife and cut it into smaller bits. We want 3/4 a cup of celery. So it was a cup of carrot, a cup of leek. And now it's 3/4 of a cup of celery. Let's see how we're going. Oh gosh. I can't believe that next week it's going to be winter, officially winter. I mean, here on the Sunshine Coast, no one's told us yet because it's so beautiful, low to 20s. It's amazing. There we go. Okay, so there's the celery. And I've got to say, I'm feeling for those in Victoria right now because today we've heard, you know, another lockdown for a week. So, you know, just take care, guys. Sending you lots of love. And maybe this is the time to catch up on some of the shows you haven't watched. Go to YouTube under Simply Too Good and you'll see all of these videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays there for you to watch from, 4 years. Now we do the capsicum, and it's 3/4 of a cup. So once again, we don't want big dice. Maybe what you could do is, could you share the video today with some of your friends that are also going to be in lockdown that maybe don't know about the show, because it might give them something fun to watch while they're sitting around the house twiddling their thumbs. I say yes to that. 3/4 of a cup, a little bit more. So it's basically a lot of chopping, but a lot of joy when you eat it, that's for sure. 3/4 of a cup. I've used red capsicum because I think it gives it the nice colour. You've got the reds, the green, the orange. I like to mix all the lovely colours up. And in goes the capsicum. All right, so now we just have to put in the peas, which is half a cup of corn. All right, so there's all the veggies. We put a bit of water in. You're going to microwave this for about 7-8 minutes. But because I was thinking we haven't got time to wait all that time for the vegetables to cook, I did them ahead. So let's move this over here. I've got them, I just cooked them, so it's still very hot. Whew. And I'm going to just drain them. Whew. Watch that steam. So you don't need the water once you've cooked them in the microwave. And there are our veggies, hot and ready to go. Okay, so now all we have to do is do the chicken. So I did chop it up ahead because I thought, well, you know how to chop chicken. So it is small dice because, you know, I want it to go far. So this is where you just bite size. You're going to use 600 grams of the skinless chicken breast because that's lovely and lean. That's right. I might turn my cooktop on and get ready because I've chopped up all the other. There it is. So look, if you've just tuned in, you're a little late, honey, but that's okay. We're making fancy chicken curry out of book 7. I'm just going to wash my hands in my soapy sink. I appreciate you watching the show each week. I enjoy doing it for you, that's for sure. All right, so now we're going to use some cooking spray. And because I'm using Neoflam, I'm going to use the rice oat bran because that's what you should use on really good quality cookware. And we're going to put in a teaspoon of garlic. And of course, you know, you can always use fresh garlic. I just like to use the jar one because it's so easy. And then just slowly start putting the chicken in until it's cooked. And while this is cooking, I'm going to make a little pile up of all the herbs and spices because they're going to go in next. I always think it's better to put them all together and then you've got them there ready to go in all at once than putting in individually. Up to you. There's that chicken. All right, so let me wash my hands again. Fancy chicken curry, it's out of book 7. Now, if you don't want to make it with chicken, you could actually do a variation, because you know I love the variations. And so, the variation to this, well, the chicken is 4.3 grams of fat a serve. The fish, which we often do the fish curry because we love that, that's 3.3, and I tend to use like the fillet, like a bassa. And also the tofu. Tofu's great for vegetarians. I always like to give you options. And so the tofu is 8.8 grams of fat. So there's our veggies ready. So now, while this is cooking, I'm going to let that cook for a little bit. I'm not going to rush it by turning it. Let's get our measure spoon, and we're going to now put in the spices to make this amazing flavoured curry. So first of all, we start with a teaspoon of turmeric. And this will give it that lovely colour that we love in a curry. So this is a little bit better in a way than just chucking curry powder in. It's a little bit more fancy smancy, which is why it's called the fancy chicken curry. Now we're putting a teaspoon of coriander. So I'm just doing this while the chicken's cooking. We've got a teaspoon of cumin. And these are all the beautiful flavours that you want in a curry. And my little difference here is the half a teaspoon of fennel. It really is a bonus to the curry. Yeah, it's quite strong, so that's why you only need half a teaspoon. Now I'm only doing 1/8 of a teaspoon of chilli because I'm dropping this to a girlfriend who's been in hospital and she doesn't like things really hot. It says in the recipe 1/8 of a teaspoon, but you could actually put more in if you wanted to make it a much hotter curry. But I thought I'd give her dinner tonight. She's very happy. Sending love to Vicky. All right, so we're mixing that up. And we're just going to leave that to cook a little bit longer. Let me just clean up my little mess here. There's our spices. Now the next thing we want to do is whip up the milk. Now, there's the phyllo. You've got 3/4... What do I do with my bowl? Oh, here it is. I took it away. So we want milk as well as evaporated milk in this recipe. And because evaporated milk has changed, now we've talked about this on the show, and they've changed it now to bring it down to 340 mils instead of 375. Why? It's because it comes from Mexico now, and that's how it is over there. So what I'm going to show you is what you do is you put the 340 in and 35 mils of skim milk, and that brings you to what the recipe is. We're also going to, with this recipe as well, you also add in 3/4 cup of skim milk. All right, so my chicken's cooked now, so let's throw in the spices, and you want to cook them for a minute or so to really, really activate those flavours. Oh yes, I love this curry. Never get sick of it. So I hope you try it because it's fabulous. So what do we got to do now? We've got to put in 2 sachets of the cream of chicken soup, and this will help, you know, give it a creamier texture as well as flavour. So 2 sachets. And then we also put in a teaspoon of stock powder. It's looking good. My gosh, the dinner's nearly ready. It's just a matter of putting it all together now. And a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons, Bill said. Sorry, I've got it down as 1. It is 1. I thought so. I'm sorry, Bill. I was right and you were wrong. Alrighty, so now let's put in the veggies. Oh yeah, look at those beautiful colours. That's all mixed up. So basically we're just going to put everything together now. Look at that, isn't that wonderful? And in goes the milk. Get all that soup mix in. There we go. I think it was definitely a good decision to make the vegetables up ahead so we could get this done in time. And now all we have to do is wait for this to boil. So I'm just going to clean up my mess a little bit because, you know, we don't want to have a messy kitchen. I've got my soapy sink ready to go. We don't need that, we don't need that, because we're going to do the phyllo next. Put this away, just giving this a good stir. Everything's looking great. Okay, that can go in the rubbish bin. We don't need this anymore. Okay, so maybe I'll just wipe down because I want it to be fairly dry because we're going to do the phyllo. Now, this is, remember, fancy chicken curry. Just waiting for this to boil because it makes enough for 6. So you get a good serve each. Now, I actually find that because it's got a lot of vegetables in it, you think, well, what am I going to put to the side of it? I mean, you could put a bit of rice. You could do a bit of rice. But I find because of the phyllo, that's kind of my carbohydrate, if you want to call it. But the vegetables that I tend to put with it, or a salad is fabulous, is broccoli and beans because they're not in this. So it's really up to you how you go with it. Now remember, the oven is preheated to 220. It's a hot oven, okay? So there's my dish. Now this is the phyllo pastry we're going to use today, and it's the only one I recommend. Please buy this one because it's in the fridge section, not in the freezer. I find the frozen phyllo really hard to work with. So this is Antonio. I tell you this in the recipe, okay? Oh my gosh, that looks so good. And now we're going to get it ready. Get my scissors again. Cut the top. Now, you're going to have some phyllo left. So look in my cookbooks because I do beautiful recipes like you could do an apple strudel which uses the phyllo pastry, sausage rolls, like there's lots of recipes where we use the phyllo, so don't waste it. You need 6. I'll leave that there so you can see what I'm talking about. Now it's very delicate, so you don't want to be too rough with it. This is almost ready. I'm looking for bubbles. Thanks for joining me today. I love that we're cooking a recipe out of book 7. And if you have just joined me, well, look, we're in the pot, we're done, we're up to the end. So you need to put a alarm on your phone so you don't miss next time. All right, it's bubbling, that's good. So now open it up. As I said, very gently, open it up. That's it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this into my container. Very careful. I might turn it like that because we're going to top it with the phyllo. There we go. Let's put the wok away. Turn this off. Move this out of the picture. We don't need it anymore. We're almost done. So there is our curry. Doesn't it look amazing? Say yes, Annette. Okay, so let's move that just there. Phyllo's coming over. I'm going to push it to the front. And you take one sheet. Now remember, it's very thin, very delicate. Get one sheet. We need 6. And get your knife. Very simple. Down the middle. Yep. Cooking spray. And then this is the thing you do. You get it and you scrunch it. That's it. You scrunch it up. I mean, how amazing is this? It's a bit of fun. Get the kids making it. They'll love it. Oop, I should have cut that in the middle, doesn't matter. Scrunch it again. It's not hard, is it? There's no right or wrong way to scrunch it. You just pull it all together. Now that's my third sheet. So you land up with 12, and that means you get 2 each for your serve. And it comes up golden crispy when it's been in the oven for only about maybe 15-20 minutes. It doesn't take very long because remember it's a hot oven, and you'll take it out once you've seen that it's nice and brown. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 2 more to go. And I really wanted to make this for you because it might be a recipe that you overlook in the books thinking, oh gee, that looks a bit complicated. Well, Bill's just saying you could have done 3 across. Well, we could. How about that, Billy? There we go. And 1 more. And it goes in the oven, as I said, 15, maybe 20 minutes. And what I'll do is when it's done, I'll take a photo and put it in the comments. So there it is. I've just got my cord wrapped around me. Isn't it amazing? Look, fabulous. I mean, who knew weight loss could be so deliciously healthy? Here is my fancy chicken curry. And I'm just going to open my door up. And in we go. I'm going to do my timer for 15 minutes and check it. Now what you do, please make sure you roll it up, keep it together, and put it back into the bag. And it will keep in the fridge for about a week. You really want to try and use it up though. And as I said, go through some of the recipes that I've got because I have got some really good ways to use phyllo up, even like simple turnovers. Now, if you would like to win a copy of book 7, you know you do, all you have to do is like, share, and I think today's a good day to share with anyone you know that's in Victoria so they can maybe have something to watch tomorrow. And then what do you do to win? In the comment, you have to do this. Hashtag simply too good. Please be aware you have to write this correctly. It's not an I. It's simply with a Y, number 2 good with the hashtag, and then you hopefully could be a winner. Now next week it's winter, so I thought let's do some hearty winter stuff. So I'm starting up with a great pudding, and it's the caramel self-sauce pudding from book 3. It is just a clever little way, a little bit like the phyllo. It's a bit fun and fabulous. This is a self-saucing pudding. If you've never made one, you will see how fun and easy it is on Tuesday. The recipe's up for you. Go grab it, buy the ingredients, cook it with me. Your family will be very happy. And it's a great way if you've got some bananas getting a bit overripe over the weekend, keep them for Tuesday. Now, Thursday next week, once again, I felt the winter theme was the way to go, and I'm making one of our favourite casseroles in this house, and it's the spicy apricot lamb casserole. It's out of book 3, so a lot of love for book 3 next week. Now, if you want any more tips or recipes, you know where to go. It's simplytoogood.com.au, and I just wish everyone a great week, and I'll see you on Tuesday. And don't forget, I'll put a picture of it up later. Bye now.